I am Emily Griffin of Griffin Houghton.
And I am Stephanie Houghton of Griffin Houghton. And together,
we're Griffin Houghton. It's an old Victorian that our client Mark bought in 1998. It was in really, really bad shape. But he and Stéphane, his husband, lovingly restored it in the past 25 years. So when we came on board, all of the trim carpentry was redone, the baseboards, the floors, the doors. It really looked gorgeous.
At the time, they hired us just on the heels of having worked through architectural plans with their architect, Christopher Walker. There was a huge desire to do a two-story addition, which we were thrilled about. And so we worked with the old bones of the existing home, but then of course we had the opportunity to shape the new part of the home. What we decided to do is very clearly define roles and responsibilities. It's such a big project. We decided Emily was going to establish the design vision for everything. And then I got involved very early on with the designing of the interior canvas. Everything from flooring, tiles, bathroom designs, all custom millwork everywhere. And so that envelope was created very early on so that Emily could then come in and do all the decorating to take it to the finish line.
Without the addition, this was really their only sitting room. So what was interesting is they had the television over the chest in the front hall, which gave me a little bit of hives, as you know, the first thing you see when you walk in the front door is the television. But it was clever. It didn't interrupt the living space. They were able to have the gilded mirror over the fireplace, but we had to address that. So we got a new chest. The chairs existed, but we just reupholstered them in a gorgeous dragon Schumacher fabric. And then we hung this beautiful painting by Madeleine Lamont over the television. And that's where Stéphane is this MacGyver of amazing proportions. Like, he created this very elegant pulley system. So when you watch television, the painting goes up, and when you're finished watching television, the painting comes down. Mark and Stéphane have great taste. A lot of the pieces were already existing and we refreshed them. So we love the lines of the sofa, but it had completely had it. So we stripped it right down, rebuilt it up with new cushioning, all new upholstery, and it looks new, but it's old. Same with the leather chairs. They were patinaed really beautifully, but the seats had completely had it. We weren't going to try to match the leather on the seats, so we just matched the color of the leather with a mohair and redid the seats. We brought in new lighting, a few pillows, some accessories, a new rug, which really lightened up the place. But the room existed and it looked very much like this, just not as pulled together and a little bit tired.
Stéphane is incredible. He puts pieces together that you wouldn't typically put together to create all of this beautiful trim work around the room. And he MacGyvers things so that things that we don't really want to see get beautifully hidden away behind trim carpentry work, like blinds on windows
here
that you would never know even exist. So he did all this lovingly, and to his credit, with 4 dogs that keep chewing, he keeps fixing it and making it look beautiful.
The dining room was not a dining room when we came on board because Mark's piano took up the entire space. So they actually had nowhere to entertain. Once we moved the piano back into the great room, we wanted to create a proper dining room. The break front existed. It's a beautiful piece of furniture. We found this English pedestal table at Of Things Past, which was in great condition, and then designed some custom chairs that are in a classic cream linen. And so the room feels, once again, modern but traditional.
Moving into the new 2-story addition at the back of the house, we start with a bar area. And we were able to panel all the walls in this beautiful oak that matches the flooring in the room that's adjacent to the great room. It's a British-inspired old bar vibe in there for sure. We have Cremone hardware. We have decorative wire mesh that fronts the cabinets. We have a hammered brass sink that we got on good old Etsy. And then this lady went out and found our killer leathered marble Nero Tenuzi that looks incredible. It was just the last piece of that design that looks so good. So that French limestone traveled into the powder room, which is right off the bar. You'd never know it again, magic of jib door. We started that one with this inspiration of an old antique Biedermeier chest. We're like, that's our vanity. It's so beautiful. It was done in mahogany. We were quite sure it was crotch mahogany. And then you came in with Flourish.
With Cole and
fantastic
Sons
wallpaper.
Fish wallpaper.
Yeah,
Puffer fish.
The Aquario. It
Yeah,
looked great.
Such a fun. I love having good old time in
Yeah.
the powder room.
In the great room, our starting point was actually a discussion around woods. We have these beautiful overhead beams, and we need to take those into consideration. The existing oak flooring that we had put in to match the paneling of the bar. And then we had this millwork design flanking the fireplace. And then of course the piano itself is going to have its own tone. But everything is just harmonious in the sense that the tones are all warm, they work together, they're very complementary.
The fireplace Mark and Stefan had purchased before we had come on board, and it's such a magnificent black marble. The Chesterfield was also a purchase that we inherited. So we leaned into this British country manor home vibe and brought in a beautiful Iranian rug. The stools are hide stools, the custom chair done in a beautiful cobalt blue. It feels really collected. In the summer, the doors are open, the dogs are tearing in and out of the home.
And for the people who are wondering if you can pull it off with dogs,
Oh my
they
gosh.
have 4 dogs named after Dynasty.
Characters in Dynasty.
Characters on Dynasty. We have Lexi, Sammy Joe, Blake, and then we have a little outsider who's joined the crew who came with her name, Sally, and she's fit in beautifully. But this is a dog-friendly home, and the fabrics are great.
It is sad when you have to pull out the dirty blanket so that the dog doesn't mess up your nice upholstery. We bought an extra yard of all the materials, and they lay it down during the day when the dogs are here and then scoop it up at night or when they are entertaining, and it gets hidden away in a drawer.
Today we're not going to show you the kitchen on the main floor, the only room you don't get to see because we're in the process of redoing it. And it's definitely going to be British inspired, we can tell you that.
But we can absolutely take you upstairs. The principal bedroom looks out onto incredible views, and it's got a peaked roof, so it feels very light and airy. The fireplace mantle is another fireplace that Mark had purchased before we came on, and I have to tell you, I was struggling at first. How am I going to decorate around a salmon-colored fireplace mantle? But I gotta tell you, it is such a beautiful color. I decided to pair it with a bright green sofa and pillows, but kept the palette to wood, cream, salmon, rust, and green.
The principal ensuite. We went classic and timeless on that. We painted all the walls. We chose one stone type, Calacatta, can never go wrong with Calacatta, honed in different shapes and sizes. We had subway tile on the shower wall, and then one of our shower walls had a huge slab of Calacatta, beautiful. We also did that for the vanity top. And surprisingly, we chose a very large light fixture that most people wouldn't have the guts to choose. But she did, and we pulled it off, and we have a lot of reasons why we knew this would work. One of which I think is because we have opposing mirrors opposite one another, which opens up the feeling of the room. And so we just knew that we were going to see this statement piece from all angles, and it was going to be beautiful.
The old principal bedroom became the guest room, and Mark had one brief. He said, I want a fabric-covered canopy bed. Of course, we'd never done one before. There was such a big learning curve, but it's such a gorgeous bed. And then the middle room was turned into Mark's office. And we went very bold in there with a dark silk wallpaper, dark trim, and ended up finding these inexpensive, very attractive bookshelves that we then styled to make them look old, with old books and old boxes, and he loves his office. The thing about this house is we've been doing this stuff for years, and it's suddenly popular. So we've always done traditional.
We come from traditional.
And we come
upbringings,
from
too. It's
traditional
very second
homes,
nature.
so it feels second
Yeah,
nature
yeah.
to us. Mark and Stefan are modern day Renaissance men. Mark is an incredible illustrator. A lot of his work is around the home. And of course, Stefan, I mean, he's a MacGyver.
There's seriously nothing Stefan can't do.
Yeah. So we actually feel humbled. So it was really fun. I would say it's our first truly Griffin Houghton collab.
We Griffin Houghtoned it.
We Griffin Houghtoned it.